Hey everyone, welcome to Sequence of Instructions. Thanks for joining me. It's been a while since we made a video, but we're starting a new playlist, this one about HTML and CSS. The goal of these videos is going to be to take you from complete beginner, introduce you to things like HTML, CSS, basically the web languages, and hopefully by the end of it you'll be able to build yourself a web page. Now, I'm on jspin.com as always. Normally, in previous videos, I'll have the JavaScript and console tabs open because when we're working with JavaScript. In this video, it's going to be HTML and output. HTML being the HTML code we're going to write, and the output screen showing what our HTML renders to. Now you'll notice JSpin starts you off with some boilerplate. There's HTML, head, body, but for the purpose of this first video, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. We'll learn about that stuff later. But for now, I just want you to start fresh. Okay, so what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Language spelled properly. Hypertext, some of you may be familiar with what this means, others may not. This is basically shorthand for saying the language of the internet. So for example, you'll know http://google.com. You've all seen this as a URL. This HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So there's that hypertext again. Hypertext just means, the language of the internet. So the hypertext markup language is going to be the code we write to serve content. So someone comes to our website, we want to show some content to them. We write that content in HTML. Now you'll see I've written what looks like plain English, and it's rendered in plain English over here on the side in the output. But you can add the hypertext tags to it to give it that hypertext markup ability. So here I've added the strong tag. We'll go into the anatomy of an HTML element in one moment, but you'll notice that it's changed the content a little bit. The actual letters are the same, but these are now bold. And that's really all that HTML does is it annotates your content. So you'll see the strong tag that we used. You may be able to guess it makes the type bold. But let's look at what a strong tag, how we build a strong tag. So see, it starts with this less than sign, followed by a tag name. In this case, the tag name is strong, and then we close it with a greater than sign. I like to call these less than and greater than signs carets. So we have an opening caret, a tag name, a closing caret, and every opening HTML tag, those make up the HTML tag. Every opening tag has a closing tag. So here's the closing tag. It's very similar, except you'll notice there's a slash now. So it goes opening caret, slash, tag name, closing caret. All right, and these two things combine, this that I've highlighted is considered one HTML element. So an HTML element has an opening tag, a corresponding closing tag, and some content in between. And this content is what the tag is annotating. Right? So without the tags, the content's still the same. It still says hypertext markup language, but with the annotations, these HTML tags, we now have a little more character. All right, so that's the strong. There's another tag that's similar called M, stands for emphasis, and you'll see rather than making our text bold, it's made our text italicized. Right? And so you can use any combination of these. One thing you may have noticed while I was typing that http://google.com is that it doesn't really care about spaces, right? So you'll see I can put enters in here, and the text doesn't have any of these line breaks. Doesn't matter how many spaces I put, HTML will always reduce all of the white space down to a single space. Right, so there's one space, there's one space. This appears as one space, but really it's a bunch of line breaks. HTML doesn't care. So you may be asking yourself, well, what if I want it to have a line break? What do I do? Well, there's a tag you can use. This one is called a key for paragraph tag. This is a paragraph tag. I have my opening tag, same as before, opening caret. The tag name in this case is P, shorthand for paragraph. Closing caret, my content, here's the full sentence, hypertext markup language. And now I have this closing P tag, same as before. Opening caret slash tag name, in this case P, and closing caret. And it appears like nothing has happened, But if we make a few of these, you'll see they each get their own paragraph. To really drive this point home, I'm going to write this a bunch of times. And you'll see this middle paragraph, even though all the text is on one line, it's really fit like a paragraph. So it breaks when it hits the end of its space. I can show that like this. And it really works the way that a paragraph might work in Microsoft Word or something. Okay, let's learn about another tag. Here I have, let's call this my site. This will be kind of like the title for my site that I'm building. I want it to look more like a title. I could make it strong, but that doesn't quite do it for me. I want to make it bigger like a title. There's a tag called H1. This H1 tag means header 1. It's the most prominent header on the page. You'll see in addition to making the text bold, it's made it larger. It's given it some margin on the bottom here between the next paragraph tag. And that's really how we indicate what our primary title is on our page. There are other header tags. There's H2, which is like H1 but a little bit smaller. H3, which is like H2 but again a little bit smaller. H4. If you're wondering how far this rabbit hole goes, here's H5. The answer, I believe, is H6. So this doesn't look much like a header anymore, but you still have that power if you'd like to use it. All right, so let's put it back to H1 because I like that. And one last thing I'm going to show you is content doesn't just have to be text. So in this case, here's our P tag. We've got a bunch of text in it. You'll notice the text is all the same. It obviously doesn't have to be. You can have as many any format of a sentence that you'd like. But for the most part right now, it's only text. What if we wanted to make this first one bold? Could we do it? The answer is yes, you can. So here I've put a strong HTML element wrapping around this text, right? This is the same way I did it earlier today, but now it's inside of this paragraph. And we call this a nested element. This element, this HTML element here, again, comprised of opening tag, content, and closing tag, this full element exists inside of this other element, this paragraph element. So this is the paragraph HTML element. Inside of it, it has some text, which is its content, and it also has a HTML element part of its content. And you'll see our output here looks kind of like a Word doc. There's this large my site title, there's a paragraph with some bold. Maybe I want to make this word emphasized, so I can do that. And you'll see, yep, now markup is emphasized. So I really have control the same way I do with Microsoft Word to stylize my content, to really annotate it and make it pop better than just plain text. That's it for this first video. I encourage you all to go around on your own JSBin site, mess around with different tags. There are tons of other tags out there, literally dozens. Some flavors of HTML, some technologies let you create your own tags. We'll learn about that in the upcoming videos. But for now, play around with these that we learned. See if you can make yourself a cool Word doc styled website. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Until next time, take care. Bye.